Any questions?
How heavy is it?
How heavy is it? Now you've got me. 44 kilos, I think.
And is that dramatically different to other subs?
Compared to a Stacker 3 Q subs, yeah, completely. I mean, I'd be quite happy picking 2 up in my hand and walking in. A health and safety person would probably tell me I shouldn't because it's over 30 kilos. A J sub is somewhere around 100 kilos. So yeah, it's in terms of a cardioid performance, it's a big saver on weight.
All right.
Just 2 questions. How much space do you need behind them?
Behind the sub, we generally say if you're going to use a B4 and you need the cardioid behaviour, it's because you've got something happening behind. If there's a brick wall behind it, you probably don't need a cardioid sub because all it is a brick wall. So in terms of general spacing, the wheels on the back of the sub give you enough spacing to be able to push it up against the wall and not to restrict the airflow out of that back port. But in terms of how much space do you need, well, to make it work properly, you need, I don't know, 2 or 3 metres probably.
And when you push it up against the wall, does it just become a normal...
It's just the same as a normal sub, because a normal sub, the sound would wrap around, hit the wall and bounce forward. The B4 is just exactly the same, really.
My other question was, has anybody else developed a passive cardioid sub?
I'm not aware of another sub that's developed that's passive, that does the cardioid response, not just at one frequency, but across the entire bandwidth. That's the key, because you need a lot of DSP to not just cancel a specific frequency, but to do it over the whole bandwidth of the sub.
So do you have a patent on that?
Yes.
Okay, first sorry about my English. I don't know if the phase-wise word exists, but in the old cardioids you had a extensive thinking about how it was acting on the phase.
Yep.
What about this now when you have an acoustical version of the same thing? How does it act on the phase-wise?
I mean, in terms of phase, the rear-facing driver has to have a hugely different phase response to the front to cancel out the sound behind. And by the time it gets to the front, we need it to be in phase at all the different frequencies. And
is it?
Hopefully from that graph, you can see all the different frequencies are at the same level. So the phase response works. Our next task then is to make sure that it's at the crossover point to the other loudspeakers, if you put whatever top box on top, that they're phase coherent. And all of our speakers are from the Q series onwards. Well, an interesting thing on the phase was we tried to, Matthias, who developed this in Germany, he did all the tuning he could with the cabinet volumes and with the tuning of the ports and all of that kind of thing. And then the bits where he couldn't quite get there, he wrote a specification for the actual speaker itself, the driver itself that he needed. He emailed that off to our usual driver suppliers, and within minutes he got an email back saying, why would you ever want a loudspeaker to do this kind of performance? It was just a crazy specification of a loudspeaker driver. And so he picked up the phone and explained what he was trying to do, and they're like, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense. But yeah, we've never seen anything like this kind of driver design before. So.
What about power draw from power network compared to the acoustical power? Is there any change between this new method and the old J-sub systems? Or
in terms of the actual power drawn mains-wise, there'll be a heck of a lot less on this. On the J-sub, you've got 3 18-inch drivers, one of them driven off its own amplifier channel. In this, you've got a 15 with a 12 driven kind of slaved off that, so it's just 1 amp channel. So in terms of residual draw, when the speaker system's not actually pushing any noise out, there's going to be a lot less residual draw. And if you think of the weight of a 15-inch driver and a 12-inch driver, there's not much mass we're trying to move there. On a J-sub, we've got 3 18-inch drivers. That's big drivers we're trying to move. So yeah, a lot less power draw on this. Yeah, cool. Thank you.